Can you define what creativity actually is?
I think creativity is sort of like finding or rediscovering a stimulating or an exciting way to express some kind of universal truth. Maybe it stimulates a response or some sense of recognition, or it inspires other people, or other times it might just be for its own sake.
Do you think creativity can be learned or developed, or is it just one of those things you are either born with or not?
I think everyone's born with creative faculties, and that just for whatever reason or lack of inclination, some of us just don't develop them. I've got a friend, artist B.A. Moelman, and she gives the example of drawing. She says, we all can draw and we all do draw, but then some of us stop drawing. And then when we do, we kind of hit pause on that aspect of our creative side. So, if you stop drawing when you're 6 years old, then your drawing abilities just become atrophied at the age of 6 years old. If you start again when you're 35, you're still going to draw like a 6-year-old. So I think that applies to a lot of other things.
When did you first start creating things? And when did you realize that this meant you were a creative person?
I think other people have a big role in that. You sort of get recognized by others, and that gives you confidence to continue, whether it's I remember a particular time when I was at university and I wrote this poem or some stream of consciousness kind of piece of writing, and then I had a friend, John Brown, who was like, hey, this is good, man, we can turn it into free verse and do stuff with it. And that was like really encouraging, and often other people give you the confidence to carry on with your creative endeavors, and then that in turn helps you drive yourself, because ultimately you do need a lot of that self-starting kind of impetus to keep doing it.
Can you describe your creative routine? Do you have one?
I try to mix it up, perhaps just try and keep it fresh. I do a lot of things, and sometimes I will maybe run out of inspiration in a particular field and then just pivot to something else. If I pick up a guitar and nothing happens, I'll just put it down again, and then maybe the next idea might be novel idea or something like that. You never know how it's going to come, or just getting together with people and seeing what you come up with. You never know. Just try and keep finding new avenues to express myself. I also try and just keep a phone near me or whatever, so that when I do get an idea, I can just get it down, because there's nothing worse than remembering that you had an idea but not remembering what that idea was.
Do you have particular things that you do that result in creative ideas?
Yeah, there's a strange interzone between wakefulness and sleep, whether it's while you're falling asleep or just as you're waking up. Maybe it's slipping in or out of the dream state, where I find I get a lot of ideas. So I've learned to just also keep a phone or a notebook or something nearby, and then even just pull yourself out of sleep, even as you're about to go to sleep, and just quickly sit up and jot down those ideas before you lose them. And then revisit them later. Often just needs that spark, just to remind you, and then you get back into that space.
Why do you continue to create now? Do you feel like you actually have a choice?
Well, sometimes it's for money. Sometimes it's to relieve the monotony of doing other things for money. It's kind of an antidote to the more mundane, prosaic things you do. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, it's the same thing. You get paid to create, and then a deadline certainly helps to keep you going.
And then the last one: how does creativity function in your life? What does it give you?
Sometimes it's an escape. Sometimes it's nourishment. Also, I find the best creativity isn't created. I think it's kind of like rediscovered. I was just thinking the other day that your ideas aren't really yours.